Hello everyone. So today we are doing Freyr, the Stormbreaker, which is the next of my dragons from Dungeons and Lasers. The dragon is all stuck together on the model. Also you get these lightning bolts, which are here, but you also have some clear see-through ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these. I'm going to paint these in light yellows and I think with some gold as well, and see how they come up, and then decide on whether I do see-through or whether I do those. I'm going to start with the wings, and we're going to start on a dry brush of Avalon Sunset. So and this is the big challenge of like doing this, because yellow is notoriously bad. And this is going to want, as you can see, a couple of thin coats. So we're going to do that. We're going to cover the and we're also going to dry brush the main body of the dragon in Macragge Blue, which is going to be our main car, and then we're going to build it up from there. So there are the wings. They're going to take a little bit. Of effort. Now we're going to do the main body of the dragon, and again it's just Macragge Blue. Again we're dry brushing, and we're just going to cover the whole thing. And just get over there and just go as roughly as we want. Again we'll do a couple of coats of this before we build it up, making sure to get into all of these, especially underneath these cracks and crevices. We don't want too much on our brush, because we're just trying to coat it just lightly. So I'm just going to do all of this. I'm going to cover this dragon, and then we'll move on to the next stage, which will be layering it up to the next blue. Right, so the lightning. This is the lightning that is see-through and everything else that we're going to be able to stick on the model if we want to. But we've also got, obviously, this, which was plastic, that we're going to be able to glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these small bits, this one, and I'm going to paint it. Now what I want is yellows and golds, so it's not so prominent in just yellow and just in gold. I think it's going to look quite cool. So we're going to start with Balthazar Gold. I'm going to use this as a tester to see how it works on the colours that we want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some auric gold, and then I'm going to highlight it with some Uriel yellow and with some Flash Kits yellow, and hopefully that will look, pretty cool. But we're just going to test and try it out on that one bit first, and we'll see how it turns out. Obviously, if it doesn't work, we've always got the other as a backup, but we'll see what happens. Right, so the dragon's all ready to go. Next, what I'm going to do is dry brush it with Dwarf Blue, But first, what I'm doing is working on the wings, as you can see. So they've had 2 coats of what you call it, Avalon Sunset. Now what I'm doing is just dry brushing over with Uriel Yellow. Again, we're just using like the tiniest bit on our brush and going over it and just trying to build up. We'll do another 2 layers of this. And we'll use the some flash kits as a highlight. But there's the comparison, of course, and it's just coming up. This isn't looking great, so we might have to thicken it up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. So, there's the main body of the dragon. All nice and done. Ready to go for its next layer, which I'm going to use, where is it? Have somewhere here, Calgar Blue, Altdorf. I've also, for the wings, I've also realised I have Cassandra Yellow as a wash, so that's what I'm going to do with that. And there is a lighter blue anyway next for the for the main body of the dragon, which is called Calgar Blue, which is going to be there it is. So if you see the comparison between Altdorf and Calgar, so it's just going to bring up another layer as a highlight for it. So this is the Cassandra Yellow. It's bringing it up as a highlight, which is really sort of like bringing out the edges. I'm still going to do a second yellow of Uriel Yellow, and maybe do a second highlight of Cassandra Yellow. We'll see what happens, but that's going to bring it up. So for the Calgar Blue, we're just doing light brushes along the model. Just let the ridges pick it up. We don't want as thicker, as as dominant as a coating. So we're doing a lot less colour, and then just brushing over very lightly, so it picks up all of these raised edges, but doesn't get into the cracks and crevices like we've wanted it to. Especially over the face, where we still want all of this nice coloration in here as well. And it's just bringing up these ridges. And again, we'll do the same down the tail, coming down nice and lightly, just to bring the highlights up. Which is what we're aiming for. Just want some light highlights just for these colours. After that, what we're going to do is around some of these areas, around the scales, like along here on the top side, we're going to highlight in Techlist blue, and then we're also going to do final edges on some temple guard blue, some really brightness. We'll also do that, of course, across the face, some real bright highlights, and that should really sort of like emphasise it. But we're not going to do it on the flesh and the skin and everything. We're just going to do it on the scales to bring those out to a much brighter colour. Right, so we continue on. The wings have had, obviously after the Cassandra yellow, they've had no layer of Uriel yellow, so they're really looking excellent. I'm not doing flashy yellow yet to highlight what I'm going to do. What I'm doing currently is doing McCraig blue with a sort of like finish brush along here, just to get all of these details along here, which I'll do along the other side as well, to colour all of this and get the blue ready and going, which of course will match the same colour sequence that I've done here. I've also, as you can see, started highlighting along here. His face is entirely done, which we're just using, you know, the thinnest of edges on the brush. And I've done Avalon Sunset on these those bits on there. So here's the wings with all their design. I need to do the highlights with Techlist blue, but I've done Techlist blue across the entire body. I just need to do some on the underside here, on the underside of the tail, but as you can see, it's pretty much done. And I've done a second layer here of Ural yellow, which next I'm going to do some Cassandra yellow as well. Down here, I've started doing highlights of Flash Kits yellow, and just doing the edges. As you can see, it's really starting to bring out those lights on the fabric. And we're just going to follow with a very fine brush, just follow all of these raised edges and just bring those out on both sides. Right, so we're nearly done. As you can see, started edging with some Temple Guard blue, which I've already done the wings, just to bring out these highlights, just like on the face, and I'm starting to do it around here as well. So what we're doing, if you notice, just light highlights on the edges and the corners, just to really bring out the colour of the monster, of the dragon. Which of course will really sort of like stand out once we're done. The face is already standing out quite dramatically. So that's really what we're doing. What I'm also doing as well is using like the finest brush that I've got, just so when I go over it, I'm not like covering over any of the Techlist blue, and we're getting just the fine edges, and then you'll see both colours, and there will be some really good standing out colour on it. So here's my attempt on the lightning strike with golden yellow. I've also done some sort of like white thunderbolts. And I'm not happy with it at all, not even remotely close. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to paint it in a series of yellows and then use the white as crackles of lightning across it and as a highlighter on these corners and things. I'm going to try it. Effectively what I'm going to do is do it to a similar style of this and see if that comes up better. Otherwise I'm just going to use the see-through lightnings. But it just doesn't show up to the degree that I want it on the model or anything. So it's not going to fit with the aesthetic. So the lightning bolt is turning out much better than I hoped. Hold on, let me just adjust a lot. Here we go. Right, so doing it, it's 2 shades. So I started with Avalon Sunset down on the base, and then what I've done is laid it up with your yellow, and then I'm just going to do some edging along the sides and then along the top with Flash Kits yellow, and that should bring all of that out. The main body of the dragon is pretty much done. I've done all of the highlighting on its body. As you can see, all of that's come out quite nicely. The claws and these spike bits here, I've done a base of Sandry dust. After that, what I'm going to do is do some Reichlin Flesh Shade, which is what I've done on the teeth. Built it out with Reichlin Flesh Shade, with Shabty Bone, and then finished it off with white Scream Skull, which is what I'm going to do exactly the same. Eyes I've painted yellow, which I'm going to do some black slits in. But there we have it, the dragon is pretty much done. It's just some final touches on the claws. The base I've done with Scaling Blight Dinge, like I do most of my bases, and then I'm going to follow it up with some more. But it's, turned out very well. And it's matching all very nicely, so we'll see what happens. Right, so there we have the finale, the eyes of the dragon. I've just done the tail ends of the spikes and then the claws, but we have dragon. So next, glue on the wings, and to get that done. Here we have the lightning, and it's had highlights and everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it with white scar and do some, get my finest brush, and what I'm going to do is do lightning strikes. Now a lot of, if you look at a lot of power weapons and everything else, like a power weapon will start at one end and everything else. What I'm doing with this is, because we have the connector here, so I'm going to use that as like a central point for the lightning strike. So you just want to use this to go along the light. Follow along the miniature. And of course, get the endings and everything else. We're going to go all the way along on both ends. and just like that. So what I'm going to do is, which is looking much better to how I wanted it. So what I'm going to do next is do the entire thing, and we'll return and see what the finale looks like. So here's the lightning strike, which will go onto this wing here and sit there. Is it this one? Yeah. So sit there like that. Which looks nice. Looks good. No, wait, it's not that wing. It's this wing. There we go. There we have it. So it will sit on this wing as such. Sit on this. Sit on the miniature. Like so. So I'm going to paint all of the others and see how they turn out. I'm also going to glue these wings on, and we'll see what happens. Oh, sorry. So I have decided against doing the lightning. It just there's too much light and it doesn't contrast very well. So effectively, what we're going to be doing is just gluing on these see-through pieces that will come all over the mini, like so, pretty much up and down. The model says that's how it all goes. So we will. But there is. Just need to paint this, which I'm going to paint in sort of like sky blues and things. Paint on a few clouds. But there is the dragon, and they are looking spectacular. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been informative. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. The next one, we are going to start on a zombie ogre. So that's what's coming up next, and we're running out of models, so soon we will be moving on to some Warhammer. Okay, and here we have it. It's much better, much crisper, much nicer look than I was intending for. But it looks like the lightning has struck out. So all that's left to do is glue on these last couple of bits onto the thing, and then we're done. Which I'll show you. And here is the final product. There are when you get yourself gluing gluing this lightning bolt and this one here, both of those are quite tricky. I of course had to do a little bit of touching up, like around this section here, just because the glue stripped some of the paint, but that is Freyr done. And that is my next dragon of the Dungeons and Lasers. Hopefully this has been informative and helpful, and you've enjoyed it. The Dungeons and Lasers models are exceptional and very much great fun to paint. Please hit me up a like, hit me up a sub, I appreciate it. Drop a comment in, let me know what you'd like to see in the future. We're working on the we're working on the zombie ogre soon, and then we've got some Warhammer to come up as well. So good luck, see you in the next one.